to you. So Karen has a PhD in biology. She's an expert on plants and flora, and she's been called to share her multidimensional light healings and light messages. She's written a book, Crystal Guardians of Gaia and New Earth, Multidimensional Crystal and Planetary Wisdom. I'm really excited to hear her insights and her experiences that she's going to share with us today. So please make a very warm welcome for Karen Lithika.
Okay, I just want to close my eyes and connect to the energy in the room just for a minute, just so I can ground myself with you all, and just to feel all the beautiful energies that are here today. Before I came here, I was nervous, but then all my Arcturian team came through, and there were so many more that came in today. They really prepared me to be with you all. So I just want to acknowledge them, and I really want to acknowledge all the beautiful beings that are with you, as we are collectively here together with Nina and Anthony's creation to bring us all together. So just to acknowledge that in your heart, and just to feel this moment of us all being together in this space of wonderful, wonderful light awakening for Gaia, for all the beings that are on this planet. We're in such a wonderful space of higher light expansion in this now moment. And my journey today is to share with you my journey, and I've been really called since April of this year. I was home and I had an experience where I was shown this beautiful crystalline book, and this book opened up into these layers of light, and it came through as cycles of light through my light body. And I was shown the story of Christ on this planet from back then, and what I was shown was how when Christ came through in that period of time, the energetic frequency that he birthed really punctuated the timeline of back then to now. And now, as we're moving into this space of awakening, we are going through this period. And I was shown all the crystalline formations and encodements. This is all part of my Arcturian learnings that connects me to this higher light knowledge of all of this. And I was shown that all of those ancient encodements are now being activated. It's this ancient history, which we all know. It's this ancient history that's in our DNA that's awakening. It's connecting us to those ancient past lives from back then. And this is awakening our DNA. And it's awakening us to this now moment. And as I had that wonderful experience, I was told that it's time for me to step up, and it's time for me to share more of my own personal experiences. And then I think I saw one of Anthony's posts, and I thought, well, I'll send an email, so I'm here today. So that's how that all came together. Thank you. So thank you. So the title of my talk was Anthony's Creation. That wasn't mine. So there's a lot to live up to with that. But what I'd like to do is really share with you my higher light role journey. And I think that's what we're all coming to, is that we're all feeling this great awakening within ourselves. And it's getting to a point in our own personal journeys and missions to reach to our higher light roles. And that's something that I've come to understand with my own journey, is understanding and reaching this higher light role that I've come to understand within myself. And it's, you know, many of you have children, many of you have lots, we all have lots going on. We are physical people, we can't deny that, although we are going through this crystalline awakening. And it's connecting to ourselves and finding that point of understanding and knowing how to balance that higher light crystalline awareness and living in this physical form. So that's what I've come to share with you today. And I love this image because I work a lot with the galactic realms, and I run a higher light group, and I have global people all over the world in this group. And this group, I've been told, is like a pulsation of light. It's a pulsation of light that contains all of our light signatures, and it reaches out into the far universes. And we work in such a purity of light space that we're doing some beautiful work with many beings, and I'll talk about that as I continue on with this talk today. But I really love this image because it reflects to me the pulsation of light that's within ourselves. It's within our heart space, it's this pulsation when we awaken, it's this calling within ourselves that we can't stop. And as we become more integrated with ourselves and more connected to our own knowledge, it is this captivating energy, it's this ancient high light energy that we're becoming more attuned to. And we're interested to learn more about it, and it's a beautiful journey of awakening. And I love this image because it's an ancient cosmic image, and for me it really reflects the cosmic awakening that many of us are feeling. And it's this connection that becomes so internalised, and it becomes very all-knowing and self-encompassing. We become very connected with ourselves, and we want to learn more about who we are. It can become a bit of an obsession. We get connected to our missions, and we're just so connected to wanting to get on this higher mission, this higher light role. That's been my journey. And I wanted to put this slide together because as I've worked with the Arcturians, it's given me this opportunity to work with the bigger picture of the planet, working off ship, working on ship, working from a bigger perspective about what is going on with our planet. So our multiverse is awakening, biodiversity is awakening, all life systems are awakening. You know, when we connect to the earth and we connect to all the bacteria that's in the earth, everything is awakening. And it's having that lens, I think, becoming connected to yourself. It's about the bigger picture as well. It's connecting to the bigger picture of what's going on. And this is another special image because I think it reflects all of us. When we think of our planet is physical, but we know that Gaia is morphing as well. She is having this dual relationship of awakening into this space, this crystalline awakening, and this is what we're all feeling. We are going through this dual awakening at the moment, and for us that are here today, and that for us that are connected to this message, it's this cosmic awakening. It's this awakening that's bigger than all of us. And this is what we're feeling in ourselves. I connected to the Arcturians, when was it? It was probably 2013-14, and when I was doing my PhD, I did a lot of work with analysing DNA and collecting plants. I was really called to go to the original, I called it, just in the past few years, the original templates of this earth. I was really called to go and collect plants in very remote areas of the world. And I've studied plants in forests, I've collected plants for many years of my life, so I have a good botanical knowledge. That's where it all started for me. And now that's expanded. But with the Arcturians, the first sentence they gave me, it was about unity consciousness. And when they spoke to me, it was beyond the physical words that we know of it in the 3D. What it's the channeling of this information that comes through in such a multidimensional manner that you're feeling it through your mind, but then you're feeling it vibrationally. And as I've done work on ship, which I'll talk about, it all relates to seeding planets, this word. And this word is so powerful because it's talking about, it is the vibrational signature of creation. That is what unity consciousness is. When you think about the word, it is, and you think about it in a multidimensional framework, and if you think about the living ecosystems that are on this planet, everything's intertwined. It is a web of life. Everything is connected. It is the unity consciousness framework of this planet. It is the unity consciousness framework of the cosmos. So we are reconnecting with our ancient light. We are reconnecting with our ancient ways. And what I'd like to do now is take you on a beautiful little journey about a dream I used to have when I was a child. So if you feel connected to, you're welcome to close your eyes or just connect to the image. But I'm just going to close my eyes for a minute and just to connect to this dream. So as a child, I used to have this dream where I was in a bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, when I was in this beautiful dream, I would be seeing waves of light moving through my body. And as I connected to this dream, I would be having waves of emotions. And when I would wake up as a child, I didn't understand because the emotions were too advanced for me as a child. And this dream used to occur for me many times. And the light that was in this dream, I've come to understand, is multidimensional. And what I've come to understand about this beautiful dream is that this was my birthing on this planet. And this was my time being birthed in my mother's womb. And the waves of energy that I was feeling was the ebbs and flows of being in her womb. And it was the emotions of her and her life. But then I was also shown that as I connected deeply into this beautiful cocoon of light, that this was a space where I was being birthed and given information. And it is a space that is a multidimensional space. And as I have developed my own multidimensionality over the years, it is a place now where I can tap into. And it is like a portal of light. I know people have spoken about portals of light. And this is like my own beautiful portal of light, where I can go back to my original birthing on this planet and connect to the original encodements of my starseed knowledge, my DNA, and a place where you can connect to the origins of your life, your Akashic awakening in this now moment. So I wanted to share that with you because it could be a space for yourself now to connect to this vibration that I've released from myself to share to you. And it's a beautiful way to start off and tell you more about my starseed journey. As I grew up as a child, I was one of those children that had lots of beings around, and I think you just don't take notice of it. But reflecting on that, it is just the way it is when you're younger, when you're connected to lots of things that are occurring in your life. But it wasn't until my 20s where I started to draw light language. And this is, I tried to work it out before, I think this was about 2002. I was drawing light language and I didn't understand. I didn't understand what was going on. And then I saw Mary on TV, Mary Rodwell, that was just talking before. So I got through to Mary and I had a chat to her, and she sent me some cassette tapes back then and a book which still got packed away. And just connecting to Mary back then, I think this was when she was living in Perth, connecting to Mary was really important because back then there wasn't much happening in this world, but it was a way for me to feel some assurance that I'm not going crazy. And a lot of the information out there back then was, you know, it was quite negative and there wasn't much going on, but I felt that there was something going on. And as that occurred, there was one evening where I felt that they were coming and I was afraid. And I said, don't come, I don't want to know about this. I was quite young. And then one morning I woke up the next day and I had bruising down my body, halfway through my body, and I didn't understand what had happened, and I just decided I blocked it out. So that was in about 2002, and from then on, in 2002, I didn't want to know about it because it was quite frightening to wake up with bruising down your body. And as I've been one of those children that's been really connected to the earth, when I was very young, when I was 18, I started to study plants, and I was really called to work with the plant systems of this planet. And I was doing lots of writings as well back then, and I've come to understand that they were Arcturian writings, but it's only after I connected to the Arcturians that I really got to understand what this stuff I was writing. So if you are doing writings at the moment and you're not sure where it's coming from, it could, you know, the beings are going to be coming through for you. And there's a really beautiful thing about self-expression with writing, because what you're doing is you are connecting to the energy of that being that's coming through. You're making that connection stronger. So even though if you're not sure about, you know, what's going on here, you know, the path of writing is a very powerful tool because it's an energetic connection coming through, and it's coming through your physical form and your writing. So it's a really beautiful way to connect to the crystalline light of what you're being called to do. And it's also good to realise that you are matching, your physical body is matching up with that frequency that's coming through as well. So that's just something to really acknowledge in yourself if you are doing writings at the moment. That's a wonderful way to advance your connection. So I had this deep calling as a child. I grew up, I've studied botany, I've spent 20 years collecting botanical books. I have a big botanical collection of Australian flora, and it's just been something I've been really called to do. And when I did my PhD, I spent a lot of time in remote parts of Australia, remote parts of Queensland. Queensland's a very powerful place. There's lots of beautiful places in Queensland. When I landed here, my first thought was to go and visit all these places, but I'm here with you all, which is beautiful, so that's a blessing. But when you connect to the land and you've been to so many places, you are connected to these places. And I didn't understand, as I do now, I've come to understand that I have imprinted this language of light from these places within me, which was part of my Arcturian learnings, to learn all this about this planet and to balance this information in my physical form, which connects to the work I do on ship, which I'll talk about. Okay, so as part of my research, I've done a lot of work with looking at the global distribution of plants and looking at the evolution of plants, looking at the evolution of plants using DNA. And that's my Arcturian part of me. So when I started this, I wasn't connected to the Arcturians. It was before the Arcturians came through, but I was called to work and look at the systems of the planet. That's probably the best way to describe it. And this image here, I've got a little marker here, is basically, I think it came out in about 2022. And I just wanted to share this. This is a scientific 3D paper. I wanted to share this because what it is, it's modelling. They've done lots of different modelling, 3D stuff. But what they're giving you is a description and an image to reflect on about the biodiversity that's on the planet. And I'll be talking more about that in a crystalline light form, which has come through with all my Arcturian work. And the pink areas here highlight where there's the most biodiversity on the planet. And for Australia, our centre of diversity is on the east coast, so the eastern seaboard. So you can see some pink areas through here. It's quite faint. And also in Western Australia, there's a real hot spot of species diversity there. And you can see in the Amazon, the Americas, Southeast Asia. Where are we? I think that's a bit interesting, but I won't go into that. But just to show you that, you know, just to give you a global view of the world and where many of our species occur. And when I was doing all this work, I did a lot of DNA analysis on plants. This is when the Arcturians came through and I was in the middle of doing this. So for me, it was this awakening, which I'll get into. And I was doing this work in the early, so it's probably around 2010, 2011. And when I was doing this work, I was really content. I was happy to be a global specialist on a group of plants and spend my life collecting plants in remote areas of the world, writing papers. I was very happy in that little bubble of light. That was my 3D bubble. I was very happy there. And then in 2012, things changed. I went through a bit of a change in a relationship and my life stopped in a way. So that infamous 2012, it got me as well. And basically I was in a position where I had to say to myself, I'm going to have a year off from my studies and I'm going to take care of myself. And as we know, when we go through points in our lives where we have to reassess, I had to heal. And when we go through healings, we're not going to be who we were. We are moving into this space of healing and expanding. And in that time, I think because that person I was with as well, he was an atheist. It's interesting, isn't it? He was an atheist. He wasn't spiritual. So as soon as that disconnection happened, it's just like my cosmic self just opened up. And as I went through my healings, I was really called to just do starseed work and just connect to that higher energy. It just started happening for me, and I have changed since then. I went through this great awakening. So it's been this journey of connecting to who I truly am, connecting to my higher light path, finishing my research, but finishing it with a multidimensional perspective of who I am. So when I went back to the lab, everything changed. I wasn't that person anymore. So it's this awakening, isn't it? Once we awaken, you know, the world of academia you have a different lens onto everything. And with that awakening came this cosmic awakening of many beings. That was something that I wasn't expecting, but these beings kept on coming through, and I had to learn how to understand how to manage these relationships. I had to learn how to understand what their intention was as well. Why were these beings coming to me? I really believe that there is a point in our awakening where there are a lot of beings that want to connect to us as well, based on their own agendas. So it's about understanding that, and that's something that I've spent a bit of time learning about with my connections and being really conscious about who I really let into my world on a multidimensional perspective. I wanted to talk about today one of the beings that came through, which is an ancient Palladian. And when he came through to me, I was in a semi-meditative state, and he just came through, and it was just frightening, to be honest. He was a very ancient Palladian with that beautiful white skin, very big eyes, white hair. And when you connect to these beings, you know, it's a really big thing connecting to ETs. I know that there's a lot of everyone's excited to do that, but I think it's something that is, how do I say it? It's a really big thing, and it takes time to understand these connections. And Lazarus was a being that took me a good few years to understand the connection. And what I came to understand about Lazarus was really connected to the elemental world and also the crystal world. And he took me to places, and he connected me to the elemental kingdom in ways that gave me a pathway in, so to speak. So when I go to forests, I have beings that come to me, but I find that the elemental kingdom, there are many beings, and some of them are very cheeky and they're very mischievous. So it's knowing how to work with these beings. And for me, Lazarus was really important, connecting to these elemental worlds, which has expanded my work with crystals, and also working with crystal devic beings. A few years back now, I was really called to buy some crystals, and there was a being in one crystal that has been really important on my journey. And this being helped me write the book that I've got for sale today, which is a collection of channelings with Lazarus as well and the Arcturians. And this beautiful being, it's been this really beautiful journey of connecting with this being and working with the information about the crystals. And in this book, I've spoken about that I'm going to be running a course, which is on the to-do list. But with doing that, after I finished the book, she came through and she said to me, okay, it's time for us, we're going to start working on this course. And she came through with 5 other beings. And I was just like, oh my God, I've got more work to do. But what they are, it's like they are in a wave of light. They are like 6 rays of light, is what I've been told. So they're coming through now to me, and I'm going to be working with them. And it's about passing through the knowledge that they have, working with the higher realms, with the crystalline kingdom, and how they work with the crystalline devic beings, their role. So I'm doing that at the moment, which is really beautiful and powerful work. To have these beings in your home is a very special thing. So as I've connected to the plant systems of this planet, it started off as a child, and because I've done so much research and you spend so many times in the forest, you come to feel naturally what it feels like to be in different forest types on different country, and you learn to understand the biogeography of the planet, and particularly Australia, because I'm here, and connecting to the Arcturians and this awakening in 2012. It really opened my crystalline light body and my intuitiveness to the plant kingdom to a whole new level. And as part of that, something that's been coming through is just the plant-like chemistry. So we all know that plants photosynthesize, and they provide us with oxygen for us to breathe. And there's lots of information that's coming through, which I could do a whole presentation about, but this isn't the right space for that. But just about how the plants are working with us on a conscious level, and the work that they're doing with managing the crystalline light of this planet, and also their role with healing us, and the work that's coming through with them to clear the nanoparticles and all the stuff that's going on with the agenda, whatever else is going on. We are in a position now as humans, and with this evolvement that we're going through, that the earth systems of our earth are awakening, and they're working with us. So it's up to us as advanced light workers now to tap into this energy and know how to generate and bring forth this energy through us so we can help humanity. This is what I'm feeling I'm being called to do now, is to tap into the crystalline plant chemistry of the forests, and use this and individual plants that come through to connect into this energy and work with this energy to help heal Gaia and help us heal our fellow humans that we're all really called to do. And I wanted to share a beautiful experience I had in Uluru. I think this was going back in 2020. So being in the forests, I presume many of you have had these beautiful connections of connecting to tree beings and working with trees. It's a very special connection when you walk into a forest and you feel a tree calls to you and wants to be with you. Or you feel the ancient trees, the taller trees of the forest, or there's certain species in there that you're feeling they're activating their light and they're coming towards you to work with you. And this was a really early morning. I went to Uluru, and I think this was in 2020 I was there. I went to Uluru 3 years in a row. I was really called to go. What was important about that, before I get into this, and something I haven't spoken about which I'd like to do, is with my Arcturian journey, what's been going on for me is that it's been like I've graduated. I've graduated when I've connected to different Arcturians. So when I went to Uluru, they said to me, once you go to Uluru, you're going to graduate up to a higher level of Arcturian connection. So now I've got to the point where I'm working with a higher beautiful being that's on ship, which I'll talk about, but I just wanted to share that it's for me, it's been this process of graduating up to work with the Arcturian beings. So this beautiful experience, I was up really early, and Uluru, if you haven't got to Uluru and Katajuda, you just need to go there, and I really believe it's such a powerful place. It is like you're on another planet. If you want to go somewhere in Australia and just to be on country and just to sit there and be there, you will get what you need for your own activations. It's a very powerful place. You will advance in your own ways. It's a very, very powerful place. And I got up one morning, and I used to love getting up really early when no one else was around. And there was lots of beautiful hills with beautiful native flora. And in this image here, you can see a beautiful Alocasuarina tree, and there's some spinifex. And if you can see in the distance here, there's not many sub-shrubs around. This beautiful tree was on its own a bit. And if you just connect to that beautiful soil, that soil has so much iron in it. It's such a powerful soil. And if you put your feet in that soil, it's so charging. It's just such an activating and wonderful place. And when I was there, I went up to this little hill, and I was looking out to Uluru. And I had my crystals, some of my crystals. I think I had that beautiful Devic crystal with me. And I was just there in my own space. And as I was there, just looking out to Uluru, and it was a beautiful morning. And then I had this beautiful wave of light just move through the back of my body. There's this beautiful warm wave of light just came through. And I just felt it and said, what is happening here? Is someone walking up to me? And I just felt into the energy, and it was really beautiful, and it was warm. And then I turned back, and I looked, and it was coming from this beautiful tree. So this beautiful Alocasuarina was calling me, and she was calling me to go and sit with her. And it's really rare that you can get an opportunity to take photos of these experiences, because if you're in a forest, there's trees everywhere. You know, you're in a forest situation, there's lots of energies, but this was an opportunity where I could take some really beautiful photos. So I hope you can feel the energy of this beautiful, beautiful tree. And she was opening up to me, and she wanted to come through, and she wanted me to sit with her. And as you can see in that image, she was quite alone. And in that image as well, she's a very old tree. Although she doesn't look relatively big, the rainfall, I was just looking at it, of Uluru is only, I think, 260 millimetres, which is quite low. So things grow quite slowly there, particularly with trees. So she's quite ancient. And I sat with her, and she embraced me in her light, and I sat with her, and we were together. And it was just, we spoke, and she said to me, take some of my cones, and which were on the floor. And I took some of her bark as well, which was on the floor, and they're with me in my lounge with my crystals. They're just there with me. So these opportunities are here for us all if you feel that connection to connect to the plant world. And I really wanted to share that today, just to share a story, a beautiful story with a beautiful being. Okay. So we're moving on now, and I wanted to share more about my Arcturian light mission. And as I've gone since 2012, this awakening, and as I've worked with different beings, it's knowing how to navigate. This is my personal journey anyway. It's knowing how to navigate what you're meant to do on this planet. What are we meant to do? You know, we're feeling this calling within ourselves, but it's knowing how to navigate our roles. And for me, I've had lots of beings come through, and it's about learning to understand which beings should I work with more, who's coming through more strongly, what messages are most important. But the Arcturians, for me, it's something that it's off-world, and it's lightship world. So although I work with the trees, and I work with the crystal devic beings, and Lazarus is there, and other beings, the Arcturian work is just, it is my higher light role on so many levels, intertwined with everything. Those awakened people that have this connection to my lightship work, and how I see it is, I see it in my mind like I have multiple TV screens. And it's like, for me, it's like a portal of light. I can just walk into that reality. And it's just something that, maybe it's because I've been taken so many times that it's just something that I just tap into. It's just like an energetic connection that I can just, it's just part of who I am. As right now I can just tap into it, and it's like having your guides, I guess. You're just tapping in, aren't you? You're tapping into this work. So what I've come to understand is that the work that I do on the planet, like my connection with DNA work, is got to do with what occurs on the Arcturian ship. And the reason why I've put this image on today was because I could have chosen an image that was, I guess, pretty conventional ET, ship work. But as I've connected more to the ships and the work that I do, I found that there's rooms that are like plasma of light. They're plasma rooms. And when you walk into these rooms, they're like this. They're just, they're prefabricated rooms. When I walk through with them, they open the space up and it becomes what it will become. And this image is actually from a museum in Italy. So I thought it just really resonated with me to share. And what's really beautiful as well is that there's people that are on this earth that I've connected to that are on ship as well. And that's a really beautiful thing, and they're part of my life. So to have this connection with people that are connected to me in that level is really beautiful. And they're close family members that I'm connected to energetically. I also work with the Arcturians remotely when I do one-on-one light healing work. So they've provided me with, it's like galactic rooms in the higher realms that I can walk through and be in that space to do healing work. And then with my higher light group, which I'll talk about shortly, I have a group that I have global members in, and we go on Arcturian journeys, and we're doing a lot of galactic work, which is really beautiful and pure, and they're part of that as well. With all this information that comes through, I was actually at a conference last week, a scientific conference, and I was sitting in there and I was just listening to these people talk about things, and I just thought, I have to get this information out. And this is what my next step is that I need to do. I need to publish this information about this planet and the information that I receive from the Arcturians. That's what I need to do. And I've got this image here, and this is an image that I found online, but it's a beautiful spiral of light that talks about, in a very simplified version, of how this planet came together. So there is layers and layers of crystalline technology that's very ancient, that is a fabrication of our world. And the Arcturians have been part of that from the inception, and also their ancestors. So they've been following that line of maintaining this planet. So their role is to, based on what I know and the information I've received and seeing them work, is that their role is to work in the higher cosmos of this planet, and they're working with the crystalline framework of this planet. And it's part of their agreement, I guess, for this planet. And it's really interesting. I'm going to talk about some of the information that I've received from the global light group that I run. And it talks about cosmic disclosure, which I'll get to in a minute. But I just wanted to say that it's one of the messages that I've really received at the moment, that we are just living on the surface. We are the humans that are living on the surface. And the experiments that have gone on with the humans is just only one story of this planet. So when the Arcturians are connected to the work that they do, it's really about the bigger picture of this planet. And they've really stressed to me that, we are just only one slice of such a big cake. There is so much going on. And one thing I also wanted to share was about the biodiversity zones on this planet. So as I showed you that picture before about the species distribution, I wanted to share that because all of our plants, where they're located in the world, they have their own crystalline light signature that's interconnected, which is forming the web of light for that particular system of plants and animals, and it is emitting its own crystalline signature. So that when we think about that on a global scale and all that energy that's being emitted, and you just think about the complexities of that, it is a very complex web of life. And the light that's being emitted from these places is the next level of light technology that we're moving to. So that's like the Tesla work. And I'm being shown so much. I wish I had the knowledge, and this is what's coming. But there is so much to be done with the light chemistry of this planet, with the plant kingdom. And this is what I'm seeing it, and I need to bring it out now. And this is why I've got to get this book done. But it's here for us. The evolution of this planet is aligning us now to activate and bring in this information for us. It is time for us to do this. It is the higher light role of me, and that's why I'm here today. And I think it's a higher light role of many that are here and many on the planet. I'm only one person. You know, we all have this information in some way or form. What I wanted to talk about now is this global light group I run and how this all came together. So back in when COVID hit, so I'm one of those people that has a real job and, you know, has this higher light calling that pulsates through me. So I've started sharing my channelings online, and I'm quite an introvert. I'm quite a very quiet person, so it was a big thing for me to start opening up that way. And then one morning I was getting up, and I still drink coffee, and I was making a coffee. I'm in Melbourne, it's cold, and I made a coffee, and you know when you're waking up you're sort of half asleep, and I went and sat on the dining table, and as I sat down, it's like that moment when you're just switching jobs, when you're sort of flicking on the TV or you're about to sit down, and then I just was bang. I had these group of beings came in and they just sat around my table. And when I connect to beings, how I see them in my third eye, but then I also see them vibrationally. So they come through as I can see them in my home. I see them as energetic signatures. And they came in and they said to me that you need to start a group, and your role is to start this group. It's important that you start this group. And this was about 1.5 years ago. And they told me that they're the star nations. That's what they said to me. And they said to me, you need to start this group. So I put the word out. I put the word out through Facebook, and it's one of those things where you want to have a lot of people come into your group, but at the same time it's about having the right people join your group. And so I have a really beautiful group of souls that are in this group. And this group has been going for about 1.5 years. And we have 2 journeys a month, or we have 1 depending on what's going on. But a lot of this work is high vibrational work. We're going off world depending on what's going on, or what we're called to do. And with this work, sometimes we have different beings come through. And we were in a journey last year, and in this journey the whales came through and they wanted to take us to the ocean. And I was like, okay. And as we were coming through, the Arcturians was there as well. We always start with the Arcturian beings. And then the Syrians came in. And I don't usually work with the Syrians, but what they... I'll go to the next slide. And what we were told and what we did, we went to this beautiful underwater civilization. And this was last year. And it was just a greeting, and it was an opening to connect to these beautiful beings that were under the ocean. That's what we were told. We were told that we're connecting to them. It's an energetic connection, and this is the beginning of these connections. And this was last year. And then this year we had another session, and the Syrians came through again. And then they said to me and the team that we're going to start working with you more, and that we're going to be doing work with connecting you to all the other groups of beings that are living on the planet. And that's part of cosmic disclosure. That's what we were told. So this was back in about Feb of this year. And what that's about is it's about us connecting to all the civilizations, the ancient civilizations that are on this planet. So as all this work's going on now in the past few weeks, there's been all this disclosure stuff going on. I wanted to share that because there are so many civilizations that are around us that are ancient that have been here. And that's when that message really came through about us just being on the surface. You know, we really are, when you think about it, we really are the experiment because we are on the surface. You know, things can go wrong because we are on the surface. And these ancient groups of beings, you know, they're hidden. They're doing their own thing. And with that session that happened, I think it was in Feb or March, I had the Yowies come through as well, and I've had connections with Yowies before. And it's just, you know, it's just reconnecting with us. And connecting to my light group is about connecting the humanity's light signature with these beings. So the work we're doing in our group is going out to the consciousness of humanity. So even if there's only 4 or 5 of us in this group, it's a bit more than that, but it's about us just expanding and working in this beautiful space of very high vibrational unity light, and just sharing that out to the cosmos as well, sharing that crystalline energy out to the cosmos as a signal, and sharing that out to the collective of our species. And I just wanted to share this because this is who we are. We are humanity living on the surface. This is our role at the moment, and there is so much more going on which we know, and it is about us knowing our place. And with the awakening that's going on, you know, it's about knowing what information to, you know, all this off-world stuff, whatever's they're going to do with all the ships, you know, whatever's going to come in. There is so much going on around us and under the earth and under the ocean. So there is, you know, there's so many beings already here. So I wanted to share that. And we are the future. This is my closing slide. We are the future. My light group is about, part of it is about cosmic disclosure, is connecting us to the beings that are on this planet, and healing ourselves and becoming more connected to our own crystalline advancement and our own light skills. And as we know, as we continue this wonderful work, we are going through amazing upgrades at the moment. 2023 has been pretty amazing for me. Everything is just, you know, if you're getting those activations, it's so much more clearer, so much is coming through. The magic of this world is here for us, all of us, to really, you know, grab and use and activate ourselves. One thing the Plant Kingdom, I really want to share this again, is that they've told me many times that they can clear the nanoparticles. So anything that's gone on in the past few years that is connected to nanoparticles, the Plant Kingdom is going to assist us with releasing that and shedding our bodies of this stuff. It is all just there to make us scared. The natural plant systems are here to help us. We are so powerful. These natural earth systems of unity consciousness are so powerful, and they can help us tap into this energy of these systems, which is our planet, the crystalline energy of this planet, anchor that within ourselves and create these products, create these tools within ourselves. And everybody here, it's really time to step up. That is my calling. I've come today to tell you all that as well. You know, you're all activated, you're all awakened on some level. If it's just been 2020 or the past 20 years, you know, we have to step up because we're the awakened ones. And, you know, if you go to a Coles New World or a shop, there's a lot of people that are still asleep, you know, and it's up to us to be the messengers. You know, we're the ones that are, we've got the light skills, and it's about investing in that in yourself. You know, spending that little bit of money or just making that time for yourself to really get to tap into your higher light role. And that's the message as well, that higher light role. What is your higher light role? And it might be just sitting on Gaia and saying that I want to connect more to Gaia. That could be part of connecting more to your higher light role. So that's my closing message, and thank you for listening. Thank you.